Good evening, everyone, and I'm so happy to be here today to facilitate with you all Lead House, the session for 4th of May. And I believe you all have been having a very busy time over the last few days with the various programs, and today we have another interesting session, and this is on the important entrepreneurship competencies and how we can achieve success by applying those competencies. So let me just move on to
Good evening, everyone. Good evening,
good,
sir. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Good evening. Welcome. We all have, as we go and speak about entrepreneurship competencies, I would like to say that due to the time that we have for today, we'd like to try and make this as active and participative as possible with you. And I would like to actually open the floor as and when we go into a particular aspect, open it up to you for your feedback, comments, and in fact questions and answers, so that we don't want to make it just like a lecture series. And so when we talk about leadership skills and competencies, we are quite familiar with many of these things. You would have come across of these things like emotional IQ, decision making, coaching, problem solving, team building, delegation, and focus, etc. So these are leadership skills and competencies. So many of these you are already familiar with and you have come across them. Now, so some of you may already be entrepreneurs, or you are actually planning to become an entrepreneur. And so at the end of the day, that is all what we all hope to do, right? We hope to be able to be an entrepreneur, be able to earn rather than just be an employee. And so when we find out about leadership competencies, then we also come across what are entrepreneurial and competencies. And entrepreneurial competencies, very often they are also very similar to the leadership competencies. And let me ask you, what would you all know of in terms of entrepreneurial competencies? Can you all just write in the chat box? What do you understand to be entrepreneurial competencies? Or you can open your mic and you may be able to answer as well. Even Rehanna, by all means, please feel free.
The core skill.
Pardon?
Yeah, I was. Hello, good evening,
Yes.
sir.
Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, the core skill set required to run a business like a startup. So those are the entrepreneurs' competences.
Okay. All right. Okay. Very good. So you're very correct, and I think when we look at entrepreneurial competencies, we actually define them as the set of skills and the behavior that is required to create, develop, manage, and grow your business venture. At the same time, the competencies give us the ability to handle the risks, because the business definitely involves lots of risks, right? And so how do you have the ability to handle those risks and the continuous running of the business? Now, the subcategories are there because all competencies are technical, comprised of either behavioral, attitude-based, or productivity-based. Okay, so this is what the competencies are all about. Earlier today, I think Dr. Halima had given you all a nice test, and this was in terms of unscrambling the words to reveal important entrepreneurial competencies. If you actually ask the question, how many competencies are there, she only put out like 8. If you ask how many competencies, there are dozens and dozens of competencies, because it depends on what type of business that you're actually into or going into. Okay, so she has given a few of these words. I'm not going into the detailed aspects of it, but I think many of you have already gone and done these things. In summary, it talks about creativity, risk-taking, communication, and most important, financial management. This is an area which we would want to go into. I'm still interested to ensure that we all understand the competencies. So when you ask Google what are the core competencies, the core competencies quite similar to what Dr. Halima mentioned there: risk-taking, out-of-the-box thinking, because entrepreneurial management involves a lot of innovation. It involves a lot of innovation, problem-solving abilities, taking the initiative, persistence, persuasion and social skills, business management skills, and ultimately critical thinking skills. Now, what is the importance of critical thinking skills? Anyone can tell me. What is the importance of critical thinking? Quick one.
Because these days there are many criticisms, and if we have that ability, we can face many things.
Excellent, excellent. So critical thinking, creative thinking, design thinking, these are all different approaches to solving problems. And problems will just come out of the blue. And just when you least expect it, there's a problem around the corner waiting to catch us, right? COVID was one major problem that everyone around the world faced. But in a simple business that you actually make something and sell something the next day, there will be all kind of problems. People may not supply you the goods. They may not be able to price you the goods at the right price and what they talk to you about. They may not give you the money that they're supposed to give you. You run out of cash because something urgent or important came up. Okay, so things like that. An important aspect that I want to emphasize: entrepreneurial competencies are something which just now we spoke about. But what are the corresponding behaviors? Because there was a study which was carried out not too long ago, and this study actually came out to say that entrepreneurs should not just have only competencies, but if you think about it, every competency has a corresponding behavior. Okay, so if you and I want to become entrepreneurs, then we must be able to understand the competency, the ability to do the job, but what goes along with it, goes along with the competency. Okay, so I want to run through with you the different behaviors. So I also looked for the definition of behavior to make it very clear, that defined as identifying the possibilities and putting good ideas into action. Because we talk about entrepreneurial skills and then we say emotional intelligence. That's a huge word. That's a competency that you need to have. But what is the behavior? How do you show it? How do you apply it? How do you implement? Okay, so this is putting good ideas into action. So you need to have a behavior, not just the competency, which is the big thing, but the individual behaviors. So the entrepreneurial behavior comprises of an individual or a group of people, and they carry out the succession of activities. I mean, it's a string of activities that this particular behavior needs, requires. Okay? And this normally demands ingenuity, determination, and personal initiative. Because when you are talking about a particular aspect of entrepreneurship, then there is a behavior, there is an initiative. Someone must take the action to do it. If not, it doesn't get done by itself. When you're in a very large organization, there is a huge number of departments and divisions, and then there's always someone to do this job. But as an entrepreneur, 1%, 2%, 5% kind of a business outfit, it requires ingenuity, solving problems all the time, determination, running out there and making sure that the show goes on, and personal initiative. Okay, so recently I was with the United Nations study which was carried out, and they implemented this in many areas around the world, and I had the opportunity to sit with them and to also go through these entrepreneur competencies as well as corresponding behaviors. Okay, I would like to go through this very quickly. I will give you the slides. The slides are available for you to go through and link the behavior with the competency. So here we'll just focus on the core competencies. There are about 7 or 8 of them. And as I said, stop me anytime to ask any question if you have. And very soon after this, I will also go into Q&A, where you can actually ask me questions and we can discuss. So the one of the first entrepreneurship competency is seeking opportunities. 2 days ago or 3 days ago, you all heard about Ikigai. That means, what are you passionate about? What do you want to do? What the world needs, right? So all these things help you to understand the opportunity. There are so many opportunities out there. You may decide to choose one today. And you choose one, but soon after that, you may want to choose another opportunity. Or some opportunity comes to you. It comes onto your desk. And then you need to see whether, shall I take this opportunity as well? Okay, so this is what opportunity seeking means. You're continuously looking for something. Because when you get a good opportunity, don't let it go. At the same time, you need to have the behavior to implement that opportunity. So what competency, let's say the competency of opportunity seeking, what are the behaviors? That means being active in finding new openings in the environment, because the environment is always changing, right? What is in the environment which can be used in different ways to start a business, to create your new market, or improve your existing business operation? You need to act and grab new opportunities when they come along, even in a very problematic area, and sometimes it might be really so hopeless, but you grab those opportunities. Not too long ago, I helped someone to set up a master's in supply chain, and he was having a major problem, and he didn't know how to solve the problem. So as we were starting to talk, we were doing a needs analysis, asking questions, what do you need, how you want to do this, etc., etc. It was a major problematic situation. He was going to close down. But within 1 month, we came up with a fantastic opportunity. We grabbed the opportunity and he was able to do an international collaboration. And it really helped him to continue his business, which was in operation for more than 15 years. So he grabbed that opportunity. Now, sometimes we need to do things before being asked or before being forced by an event. Okay? Acting to extend the business to new areas. So opportunity means looking at new areas, looking at new products, looking at new services. And also, sometimes it is something very, very unusual. For example, you may have decided to start a business. There are lots of businesses which are out there, and you may decide to start a business today, but you may look for unusual opportunities to obtain financial aid, the equipment that you might need, the property where you're going to set up the business, or workspace, or assistance. Can you all see the link of the behavior with the opportunity? Because if someone tells you, Dr. Nara, do you know what is the competencies? And you say, yes, it means opportunity seeking. I need to seek opportunity. But that's like a very big title. It's maybe even vague, it may be ambiguous. The way to apply opportunity seeking is to actively do all of these things. So, one question which I wanted to ask you, how many of you are already in a business? How many of you have already started an entrepreneurship? Rihanna, yes.
Yes.
Who else? Dr. Nara?
Yes.
Okay. And may I ask what is the like, I know Rihanna's training and coaching and consulting. What do you do? What is your entrepreneurship that you started?
I have a business with my husband, construction.
Okay, fantastic. So you would realize, I hope to get responses from the others as well. But in the construction business, which has undergone lots of changes and lots of challenges anywhere around the world, it's always like that. You would imagine that opportunities will come to you. Sometimes you might think, oh, I don't have the funds for it. It's a wonderful opportunity, but I don't have the money. Maybe this is not the right time. Maybe I need this, I need that. But you need to think about, I don't mean to advise you, but I mean to say, entrepreneurs need to think how to be continuously looking for the opportunities and how to engage that opportunity. If not now, when? Okay. Here's another one. We're talking about commitment to work contract. The commitment, again, when people look at entrepreneurship, are always committed. They're always committed. They're passionate. They make sure that it gets done. Okay. How do you apply commitment and getting the behaviors? So here we're looking at giving time, attention to something which you believe is right and it's important. Taking the responsibility, having the job done efficiently to create a delighted customer. Business is all about meeting the customer and meeting the customer's requirements, exceeding the customer's requirements, right? So you want to make your customer delighted. And we have deadlines, right? We have deadlines in every business. There's always a deadline. You got to do it by a certain time, by a certain date, by a certain period. So how to meet the deadline? This is where commitment comes in. So when you are having staff, when you are having a partner, when you're having a supplier or your customer, when you talk about commitment and you tell someone, hey, you need to be committed. So these are what it involves. Meeting a deadline, making a personal sacrifice to ensure that your staff or you put in extraordinary effort to complete that particular job. That's when you delight your customer. So this is your competency. Okay? And then if you are the boss and you do the job and you go off, when the time comes to go off at 5 o'clock, and then you expect the workers to stay and do the job. So here is where the workers will be looking to you. What is your behavior? You don't want them to say, oh, the boss is not committed. They are leaving everything with us. So here we pitch in with the workers, pitch in with the team to help them to find the right way to get the job done fast and utmost quality. The other thing is striving to keeping the customers satisfied all the time. They say customer is king, but the customer is not just, when you say king, you need to keep them satisfied. And long-term goodwill over the short-term gains. It's not just about the first order, the second order, the third order. It's a long-term business so that someone else doesn't come along and steal your clients, steal your business, right? This looks like a lot of words. That's why I'm going through it very quickly to help you to understand this. So in terms of the opportunity and the commitment, do you have any questions? Anyone has got any questions? Feel free to ask. I couldn't see the chat box, so in case there's any chat, Rehana, would you mind if you can just highlight to me? Risk taking. This is one of the biggest competencies for entrepreneurs. They say that when you look at a big company, the company is able to take a risk, but entrepreneurs are taking risk all the time. Then what does it involve? What is the behavior that is associated with the risk? That means, in simple definition, taking the chance to do something which is outside of your comfort zone. So we need to remember these behaviors. Why? Because tomorrow when you get back to work, when you get back to your class, or when you get back to your lectures, or when you get back to discussing with your partners, it means that you need to think about these behaviors. Am I doing this? Is my partner doing this? Is my staff doing this? Are my stakeholders doing this? Doing something that can result in anything unpleasant or dangerous. That's taking a risk, right? We don't want to go and take unnecessary risk. We would like to take a calculated risk. We need to take an ascertained or determined risk. And then we need to also manage that risk. So taking risk of any type of behaviors, from high risk taking to moderate or low risk. So this is where you analyze and you find out how you manage your risk. Deliberately calculating the risk, taking action to reduce the risk, placing yourself involved in a challenge or a moderate risk. So looking at risk, there are many types of risk, and you manage the risk according to the degree of the risk. Demand for efficiency. The customer requires efficiency and quality. You require customer to be satisfied. So you demand for efficiency and quality all the time. So these are the behaviors that you need to do. Okay, whether you can find ways of doing it faster, better, cheaper, and ultimately meeting the standards of excellence. There is already a standard of excellence that you need to meet. Okay, either it's international standards, your own standards, or the customer standards. right? Goal seeking. This is perhaps one of the most important core competency, because like Simon Sinek says, what is your why? Why are you doing this? Because you need to have a goal. What is your goal? Do you want to just help people around the world? Do you want to make sure that you have got a job, or make sure that you are running a business to help your employees, to help your family, to help yourself, to meet the government requirements, etc., etc.? What is your goal? To be a millionaire, to be a billionaire? So plan every action and tie it back with your goal. You need to come out with all your goals, whether you have 5, 10, or 20 goals. Then you break it down into sub goals, but you plan every action and link it back to your goals. Set your goals and objectives that are meaningful and challenging to you. You need to articulate, speak it out, write it out, vocalize it. Specific, short-term, long-term, mid-term. And all the goals, they must be measurable, they must be smart. Now, besides goal seeking, the other competency is information. You need to be seeking information all the time from relevant sources, critical for you to formulate your strategy. Your strategy changes all the time, right? So you must be always looking for information. Seek response from the customers, from the suppliers, from the partners. Personally seek information from clients, doing your research, consulting experts for business or technical advice. This will be strategic changes all the time. So we have got in the last 3 competencies. Systematic planning and monitoring is something which is again one of the core competencies. This was part of the study which was done. The source of the study is mentioned down there at the bottom. I'll give you the study details as well, so you know if you want to go into a little bit more detailed information about this. Planning your business goals, planning your business, break it down from large to small, and based on time. There are time constrained subtasks. Revising your plans is something which you have got to do continuously. Some plans need to be changed every week, every month, every quarter. Okay, so revise them all the time based on changing circumstances. And keeping your financial record. This is perhaps something which we'll go into detail in the next session. Keeping your records and using them to make smart business decisions. Persuasion networking. This is where emotional intelligence, your capability, your communication skills. Earlier, you remember the scrambled word communication. Using your strategies, using key people as your agents, developing, maintaining your business contracts. Now, for this group, the last, self-confidence. Because we are always talking about women in business, women empowerment, etc., etc., etc. Women already have the capability, the ability. What we perhaps need to do, just like men, self-confidence needs to be there. Your motive, your motivation, your self-motivation comes from your self-confidence. Trusting your skills, embracing when some things you can do, you cannot do, doesn't matter if it's not perfect. Completing your task because of self-awareness and faith in your personal abilities. Okay? Solid self-belief. Let it be solid. Don't let it be challenged by anybody else. Even if it's going to be challenged, there's a learning that comes from it. Seeking autonomy. You want to be able to manage it yourself. Don't be under the rule and control of others. There are controls and rules you have to follow, whether it is the authorities, the regulatory authorities, business rules, etc., etc. Those you cannot run away from. But if someone says, oh no, Sana, you cannot do this, then you question why. You want to be autonomous. You want to be able to find out, analyze, and make your own judgment. Okay? Strike with your own judgment in the face of opposition. Your partner might come and say, no, I don't believe this can be done. Right? Even sometimes you may have a lack of success in the beginning. Come out with your own judgment. Expressing confidence in your own ability to complete a difficult task or meeting a challenge. So, looking at all of these behaviors, keep challenging yourself with all of them all the time. Okay? I ran through this very fast. Again, because I wanted to do this within the time that we have, and I want to give some time to you to ask questions. I put here the sustainable development goals. Look at where your business or that a business that you're planning to do, if you're not doing business, maybe in future you're planning to do a business. Where does that business tie up with the sustainable development goals? Try to link it up with that. Okay, and that will really help you. So, that's my sharing for today. I know it was running through a little bit fast. I hope it was helpful, and I hope it was something which perhaps you might not have come across in the past, especially in terms of the behaviors. So let me open the floor to you all for any discussion and any questions that you might want to ask, and we can run through that. Who's first?
So along with the questions, please you can share about your learnings for this day, starting from the challenge till Mr. Nara's session.
Sure.
So please each one of you share. Sana, can you facilitate calling them to share? First you share your own sharing and then you can call them. Sana Hashmi. Can you all hear Sana? I am not able to hear.
Couldn't hear you, Sana.
Yeah, Sana, check your audio.
Try again.
So shall we request Dr. Nara to take up this responsibility?
Okay.
First you share your own sharing, Dr. Nara, and then you can call one by one so that they also can share.
I have to thank you, Dr. Nara. The session was very informative, and I think I can take many points in my business, because now my husband is running the business. I am not very much in the business.
Okay.
Only my name is there. But in today's session, I got many information. Alhamdulillah. I want to thank you.
Sure.
1 minute, Dr. Nara. To my knowledge, you have written a book and you have already sold the copy of 650 of that books. That makes you a businesswoman, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
that is
I
business. Yeah, that is entrepreneurship. Yeah.
Yes, very true.
Yeah, yeah, it was my hobby.
She is going to the other islands, traveling to the islands, speaking about her book, taking the sessions, whatever is the content in the book. And the book is on a very relevant topic. The book is on overthinking, the impact of overthinking and what are the solutions for that.
Fantastic.
So, yes, Dr. Anara.
Yeah,
okay, Dr.
inshallah,
Anara, now you can invite one by one the participants.
Can you repeat, Dr. Halima?
Now you have to invite the participants one by one to speak up.
I have to call their name?
Yes, you call their name. Yes. You can look at their screen and you just choose one by one so that we can quickly go around the room and they can give their feedback and they can give their question relating to the business or entrepreneurship part of it.
So, Adyanka?
Adyanka Modinath, I think she is freeze. You call someone else.
So
Sana is fixing her audio.
Almira,
yes.
Alvira, are you there? Unmute yourself.
Dr. Aisha.
Yes, Dr. Aisha.
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum and very good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, yes. And I have gone through the PowerPoint presentation presented by our mentor, Mr. Nara. It is all about entrepreneurship. Yes, entrepreneurship is the part and need of the hour, and we need to really, really do it. Whatever we are doing, I believe very, very firmly that whatever we are passionate about, in addition to that, entrepreneurship is really um, inevitable, we must say. And thinking that what I have taken a very bold decision in the year 2022. I'm the third generation learner who all have third generations have committed to education sector. My grandfather was a teacher and retired as headmaster. My dad was a senior lecturer, then retired as government degree college principal. And then I became a teacher. Then I am trying to become principal or vice principal in my job. Then I thought, why not to do the business? And pandemic has really taught us many, many lessons. When I saw the grievances of the people around me, those who underwent economic crisis and those who were below the poverty line, they were just like living animals, though they were human beings. But thinking the pathetic condition of my friends, those who are not on the job, and all my relatives, I thought I will do the business and I will make them happy. And my purpose of doing the business was to make them happy so that I can become a financial assistant to them. Fine, I thought, what should I do? What should I do? I prayed a lot to Almighty because I am a preacher beside being a teacher. Then one of my friends invited me to a business, and it was Amway. Most of you might be aware of the Amway. Are you all aware, any one of you?
Yes.
And
Yes.
then I started doing it.
Yes.
I understood. I attended so many workshops and all. And I have found today that I could reach only 9% of that business. Later, I have to drop down because of three strong weaknesses that I had. The first one was marketing skills. Completely, I was lacking. Naturally, I was not into it. And second, I was not very well in persuasion. Number two, and number three, financial management was absolutely at the scale rating 2 if the scale is of 10. So thank you, Dr. Halima Sadia, for giving this opportunity to assess in the level 3. Out of the 8 parameters of the entrepreneurship competencies, I am really, really lagging behind in marketing skills, in financial management, and lastly in persuasion. Like, you have to be in continuous touch with the customers, and I could not manage the time, and I had to leave that my business in the month November 2022.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I would really like to restart, and I need to learn these weaknesses. Please suggest me how to improve this. Thank you.
Aisha, it is so nice, so nice. You're sharing is a story of, like, even most of us have the same story. And
Fantastic.
there was a time we also thought of, like, leaving our own businesses, whatever is small we are doing. But persuasion, yes, persuasion is important.
Yes.
At times, Aisha, what I feel that I am working in a school as a principal, and naturally I'm that is my bread and butter. I'm earning out of that. But the amount of efforts and hard work I'm putting in for my EduFam, it is like quite high. But
Yes.
but if I compare the earning of both, then
Yeah.
EduFam doesn't stand anywhere. But why we are still attached with that? Because that is our passion. That's why we are attached still with. Yes, Mr. Nara.
Dr. Hemant, I think the time is just going to run out. Do you want to log back in again, or would you close the session today? Do you want to log in, or you can continue if you would like? The same link.
Yes, yes, participant, tell me you want to log in again?
Yeah, I will log
Write in the
again.
chat box.
Am I audible? I will log in again.
Yes. Can you log in
Yeah,
again?
they want to log in again. Okay.
Yes. Use the same link and log in again. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.